What is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Before we get started, just to let you know, this is a live show and anything can happen, but want to make sure to get this out of the way. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that out of the way, my name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We're going to be going over a lot of different things today, so to remind you, you can actually follow along with us on a second device on our website, marfooglenews.com. Everything that we show you here today, we show you the source of where it comes from, and we give you the access to it so you can actually go and read it for yourself, or if we just read a headline, then you can actually go and read the rest for yourself. On top of that, you will be able to see any tweets or any videos that our callers share on there as well. And then, of course, remember, if you're not getting notifications from any of the algo gods, then you can actually go to our website, marfooglenews.com, and sign up for our push notifications. That's the top part there with the red bell, or it comes up as a white box, says Marfoogle News would like to send you notifications. On the bottom part, that's for our email alerts. Again, that is something we don't blitz out. We send them when they're important. So make sure to sign up, marfooglenews.com. I'm going to introduce you to Dex, is my co-host. He is also going to be screening calls later on. Dex, are you there, and can we do a sound check?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam.
So, again, the website, how close are we to having this this platform ready? Is there any news on that, Dex?
You know, it's coming along. I've been doing some testing, and hopefully we'll have some news to announce on it soon. I've got to do a few more things and test a few more things out, and yeah, we're getting there. We're coming along. All
right, good. The thing is this is way more complicated than than I ever thought. I know that you knew what was entailed. So we're going to have an area basically for people to connect. Again, it's going to be sweet once we get it up and running. So stay tuned for that. All right. Again, my name is Adam. If you just joined us or if you're new here, we're going to go over some stuff. We're going to go over to the chat in just a bit. Again, thank you for coming, whichever platform you're on. Now, check this out. It says Army-funded algorithm decodes brain signals. That's right, brain signals. It says a new machine learning algorithm can successfully determine which specific behaviors like walking and breathing belong to which specific brain signal, and it has the potential to help the military maintain a more ready force. At any given time, people perform a myriad of tasks. All the brain and behavioral signals associated with these tasks mix together to form a complicated web. Until now, this web has been difficult to untangle and translate. It says, but researchers funded by the U.S. Army developed a machine learning algorithm that can model and decode these signals. This is exactly what we were talking about with the invention of quantum computing. There are questions that are being answered right now that they never thought in a million years we would be answering. Now, as far as the people that are the test subjects for this, say if they think about an orange, well, they're going to actually be able to pull that signal out and say this means orange in brain signal. This even proves further, though, that we are the most advanced species ever. I mean, if you think about the things that all of our brains do, all of any animal on Earth, including ourselves, we are electricity. We are literally made of electricity. We have a nervous system that sends electrical signals. We have our brain, electrical signals. Our heart depends on electricity. I mean, it's insane that we are water and electricity walking around in a bag of flesh. It's pretty nuts if you think about it. As far as what this is going to do with these test subjects, they're slowly going to pull out more and more and more. Now, one thing that I think about is how would they be able to reverse this? Could they send a specific signal to make your brain think the opposite? Dex, have you ever thought about that as far as what if they could shock somebody with a very specific signal? It wouldn't even be a shock to them, but it would be a signal that tells their brain to think that. Has anybody ever thought about that, about going backwards with this? If they know what it is, the frequency?
Yeah, I mean, to think a certain way, to do a certain thing, to plant something in, or even more differently, just to freeze somebody in place and make their muscles not move, or kind of like doing the auto kill in a car, right?
Well, say
so put somebody and stop them instantly in their tracks.
Well, because they have, they know what walking and running and those signals, they know what those are. So I'm guessing they probably know what sitting is. Imagine if they could blast something out and then all of a sudden everybody is sitting within a 5-mile radius. Pretty crazy stuff to think about.
What if instead of using a bullet, they turn around and use this type of device to tell a body to stop breathing?
Oh, that's a scary thought.
That is very scary, right?
Think about that. They say that was the first two things, like walking and breathing. They know what those signals are. In fact, our brain does that. People worry about if they stop breathing when they're asleep. Even if you do, your brain jump starts that and kicks it back in and starts breathing again, or at least it tries. We have all these things that are automatic. Think about if your brain didn't send the signal to keep breathing. I'm sure there's some sort of, disability that involves that. Absolutely insane stuff here. So what do you guys think about it? Again, we're going to be having you comment on the video. If you comment, there is a chance that your comment will be shown at the end of the show today. We're going to be reading some of the comments from the last show. We're going to start doing that. One, to include a lot more of the people that are watching the replays. We might have anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000 people watch the show live. We've had 15,000 watch live, but most of the people are watching those replays, and I really do appreciate you guys, coming by every day and stopping by. I also apologize for some of the stuff that we can't cover. Somebody made a comment today, which I responded to, and they said, why aren't you covering blank, blank, and blank, this fraud, that fraud? There's a very good reason. People are going to depend on this channel and the groups that we form long beyond when all of this current event is settled. And right now, as you can see in Congress and all these other things, if you say the wrong thing, you're just gone and there's no going back. It's to the point of no return, and you just disappear. So I think a lot of people were saying, they're just worried about their money or this or that. First off, by the subjects we automatically have in here most of the time, and I'm telling you, within 2 minutes of putting the video after we're live, it is not suitable for all advertisers. And of course now they've changed their thing so where there's ads on every single video. That was a TOS change, and now every video has to have it. Thus, every video has to be in good graces. So I rather speak soft than not have a voice, if you understand that. On the other part, though, is that's why we're building stuff on the outside, so we can communicate with our own system and make sure that we can actually speak freely there. So that's why. Because my main purpose here is to prepare people for the aftermath of whatever it may be. If it may be a tornado in your neighborhood or a tsunami on the West Coast for Cascadia Subduction Zone. That's why I started this, for Cascadia. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. People were prepared before the last time that everybody shut down and nobody had TP and all this kind of stuff. But my viewers did, because we drilled it into their head. Prepare, prepare, prepare. And that's my purpose on this planet. If you're somebody who's watching this from the big, from these big companies, we're trying to help. We try to keep as centralized and unbiased as possible. I have my own opinions, but again, on this show, you most likely will not see much of that. Over on my other, like my Twitter, you see a lot more of my private thoughts. So I hope you guys understand why, and that's exactly why we are trying to build something that, that we don't have to, worry about what we say or what word we use. The Pentagon says it shot down unarmed missile in the sea-based test. It says, in a first for the Pentagon's push to develop defenses against intercontinental range ballistic missiles capable of striking the U.S., a missile interceptor launched from a U.S. Navy ship at sea hit and destroyed a mock ICBM in flight on Tuesday's, officials said. It says previous tests against ICBM targets had been used interceptors launched from underground silos in the United States, probably Kansas or one of these places. It says, if further, more challenging tests prove successful, the ship-based approach could add the credibility and reliability to the Pentagon's existing missile defense system. So all of this is a huge deal, the fact that they have this. So as far as if they're launching something from the middle of the country compared to, say, the coastline, that's a better chance of getting it. And now, with the supposed use of hypersonics, they would probably need that. On top of that, though, one thing I would say is look at what is actually going on in the world around you. Look at what is being put on the front page, and then what's being put on the back page. On the back page, and sometimes the back page ends up on the front page. They'll talk about this here and there, but really they're not talking about how serious it's getting, and it's getting no coverage as far as the situation with China. Now, it is getting coverage, but it's getting this weird coverage that makes you feel all fluffy inside at the end of it. It will say, oh, this is it, but most likely that won't happen. Or they always say, and I've shown you guys this for 3 years, or just like they do about like Yellowstone, right? They treat it the same way. Yellowstone has been acting weird, and the whole park's going up and down, but yet scientists say it's a 1 in a billion chance it will go off. Which you're like thinking, okay, then I shouldn't worry about it. But China's not the same. That's not the same percentages. That's not the same numbers for that. But they always make the articles say that. So if they do tell you something real, then they go, oh, but don't worry about it. It's all good. We got it covered. It's all good. Most people still think, and they have the old school thought that, China's this poorer country, or they're manufactured. They'll never catch up to us. That's the kind of thinking it's in every war book out there. Don't underestimate your enemy. And that's what I believe happened, on top of a lot of other crazy stuff. But now they have the largest navy by like 70 ships. And that happened. They weren't the largest navy. And then in a year and a half, all of a sudden we're getting news headlines saying they're the largest navy by 70 ships. That's a big deal. You have nuclear scientists, 90, walking out in one day from China. So something's going on. And this story is just one little part of the puzzle. And I think that, obviously, we should all prepare for just anything. The government, the military, any kind of local branch, they're all doing prep. They are all, gathering their foods, their supplies, just in case. Not saying this is going to happen. I hope it never happens. But if it does, let's get ready. Let's have our stuff ready. Let's get our stuff together. If you're watching this or listening to it later at work, remember, you can do a little tiny bit at a time. Just a tiny bit. And one thing that will even go further than that, even if you can't do any supplies, make sure to drill where you're going to go and things like that. That doesn't cost anything to do. Where are you going to meet your family? Where are you going to meet your daughter? Where are you going to meet your son? How are you going to get your kids from school if they're still in it? If they're at home, kind of makes sense, right? Everybody's together. Then that's one thing. Where are you guys going to go? Where are you going to meet other family members? So ICBMs now being lots of things going on with missiles, but of course, there's news like this that happens, so we'll be covering it. If you guys want to protect yourself against one of the largest threats, and something that the China Task Force has been talking about a whole lot lately, of course, to Congress, and all of these reports that are coming out all point to the same thing, you can help protect yourself by getting an EMP shield. This not only helps the channel, but it helps you. This is a smart deal. If you don't go through us, go around us, go to a different creator. This is an item that I think that we should all have standard. I think this should be given out when you sign up for a power account with the power company. This should be, basically a part of your fee. You have to pay $200 to sign up for power when you move, and they give you one of these and wire it to your house. That's how important that I think these are. What they do is they protect you against all three phases of an EMP. This is, somebody would say, whatever. This is the same company that not only has now been contracted with DHS, DOD, but now is officially on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. These are Keystone tested. This is military. I would say, what are they doing to protect themselves quietly? That's what we should be doing loudly. So Again, go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. I do believe if this ever does happen, or when, it's not a question of if, when a solar flare hits, which they say every 100 years, it's been over 100 years, I think this will save lives, or at least save somebody money replacing everything they own. marfooglenews.com/EMP. Again, thank you. It helps the show, and you get $50 off per device, which, again, you can outfit your car, your generator, your house, and even your solar system, which people don't even think about can be fried. All right, and let's see here. All right, I'm going to head over to the chat and say hi. Thank you guys for coming. A lot of you showed up tonight. Shastina, Johnny Doom. We've got Gas Electric, Chevy Mike 06, Durango X Nubaru. Gone Girl, thank you so much for coming tonight. Say scared. Try not to, but I'm scared. Don't ever be scared, Gone Girl. And seriously, that's the opposite of what your brain should be doing. Your brain should be preparing and just thinking about what you'll do when it happens. The thing is when people freeze, that is when bad things happen. If you ask anybody that has survived a major natural disaster, they will tell you that there was a moment they either froze or they acted. It's fight or flight, and you have to have the fight. And a good way that you can basically have yourself set up for that is you practice, and practice. If you think about it, just pretend, have somebody, it's an earthquake. Think about what you're going to do and have it be a surprise so you don't know when they're going to do it. Because that's what's going to happen. It's going to hit you out of nowhere. It could hit right now. It could hit any second. We could have a 9.0 earthquake in the West Coast, and then the whole West Coast is walking towards the rest of the United States because nothing is there. That's a real scenario. Cascadia subduction zone. If you're in California, you've got San Andreas. If you've got the East Coast, you've got multiple fault lines. But that's just some. You Midwest folks, you know about tornadoes. You know about hurricanes. You know the East Coast people. You know hurricanes. You know power outages. You know everything. So let's do it together, and let's do it as a family. Boy Milk, thank you so much for following. We've got tons of followers today. 19 folks just joined over on DLive. End Times, thank you for subscribing. Checkawa, thank you for celebrating a sub anniversary with many others, actually. Thank you guys. And then we've got Baldylocks Awake and Unicorn Forest Gone Girl. Of course, welcome always. Baldylocks Awake, Renegade PD, Jen Lay Awake. I'm sure we've got both back to back there. I wonder, do you guys watch on two different devices, or do you watch on your TV with different cell phones? Henry Dacus, thank you last show for being an awesome supporter. Huckleberry, you rock MAF. You've been around long enough to know about MAF. I went to an art supply store and I bought Marf. I was going to put the letters MARF behind me, and I ended up buying two Fs, and I said it was going to be pretty useless. Anyways, let's see here. That's pretty funny. That's old school. Back when we had nothing. Daniel Bailey, thank you for subscribing. Lots of new subscribers. Indwelt Acres over on YouTube. Diane Lasik, thank you so much for subscribing. We have Mark Sketch was the last one out last night, or last show. Bill I. Breckenridge, thank you so much for your support, but you can, of course, write something there. And then Doc Bill. T-Man said to be preparing to withdraw from Iraq and Somalia. What do you think that means? Do you think that means... So, by the way, that's ending whatever they're doing over there, but is there any other reason that's happening? Or do you think... do any of you think that that's because we're going to need them somewhere else? Or do you think it's purely for show? Like, oh, I got everybody out by the end of this term or whatever. What do you guys think? Or do you think that we're moving all of our assets somewhere else? Don't know. Doc Bill, you're in Canada. What does it look like from outside the country? Honestly, I'm sure there's a lot of filters across the world that are stopping a lot of the stuff from coming through. Okay, and then we've got governors ratchet up restrictions ahead of Thanksgiving. So you may know this. In some states, they are saying that they do not want people even going over to their families. Not going over and seeing their moms, dads, whatever. They want you to stay home. It says an increasing number of governors and mayors across the U.S. are ratcheting up the restrictions ahead of Thanksgiving. For that holiday, travel and family gatherings will only worsen the record-breaking coast-to-coast resurgence of the virus. It says in states like New Mexico and Washington and cities such as Philadelphia and Chicago, leaders are ordering or imploring residents to stay home and keep their distance from others to help them stem a rising tide of infections that threatens to overwhelm the healthcare system. It says, quote, "I must pull back the reins," New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy said. "It gives me no joy." Some argue, of course, that they think that that a lot of these guys, it does give them joy to do this, but I think that they're just basically they're the kind of pawn doing what they're told to do. In some cases, I know that there's at least a couple of them that do not actually want to do it, and they've been vocal about it and almost lost their jobs because they said, "I don't want to do this." Privately, and then it ended up coming out. So, I mean, you do see both sides, but as far as my state is going to be extremely strict. They are saying that, I think it was Mr. Inns Lee, that said it's the hardest decisions that, if it's such a hard decision, then that's the one you have to make. And I was like, that makes zero sense, because sometimes that's not at all what you need to do.
Didn't he also he also announced in the last few days that him and his own family were not going to be celebrating Thanksgiving or Christmas? They would do it virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure people are going to be tracking that, making sure he's going to keep his word on that.
Newsom got slapped today, by the way.
Oh, what happened?
He got caught at a 12-person dinner inside after hours, and shoulder to shoulder with everybody. He came out and apologized for it.
See, that's when you're going to end up having a lot of people getting caught, or so they'll give an order and then they'll end up doing something. Kind of like when you couldn't go to an indoor salon in what was it, New York or Chicago, and then of course a very famous person ended up having a private haircut. People got mad. People made it a this versus that thing. Of course, that made national headlines. I'm sure that some of these people are going to end up doing it. They even say in their announcements, "We're sure that people are probably going to not obey and do this," basically saying that by doing that, you were, taking out your own family. So obviously a lot of people are very frustrated right now. I would say, there's a lot more to come. This is not even, I don't even feel like we're 10% into the beginning. And then, of course, we have Pennsylvania strengthening their mandates and asks for out-of-state travelers to get a test as cases surge. So we've seen this in multiple states where they say you need to have a test to come in. This is a big deal because obviously people talk about freedom of travel, this and that. They don't want to have to do something to travel to their family's house. This is where they are going to catch people that are traveling to and from. At least that's what I'm sure people are going to be a part of this. I'm sure they're going to go in there and try to grab people as they're traveling or pull over people. I wonder what this is actually going to look like. I'm sure that there's going to be videos coming out of, pullover stops and then people recording or going live or something. I wonder what this is actually going to play out as. But it does say that Pennsylvania health officials will be strengthening that mandate and are asking out-of-state travelers to get a test to come into the state. And then State Health Secretary Dr. Rachel Levine said anyone traveling to Pennsylvania, including residents returning from vacation, will be required to do a test. So not how would they do that then? Does that mean
that's just it?
There's checkpoints?
That's what's going to happen here. And you say it. One thing you're saying is like these scenes that we may see of people being pulled out of their cars or dealt with or whatever. But really, what this is the precursor to digitization, right? Because this is not practical the way things are set up now. So they're going to put the laws in, and then turn around and say, well, now we can't make them work because it's not practical. So then what do we need? We need a solution. And that solution is going to be some form of digitization. And we've seen it in other countries where they're starting to do things like scan a card or get a card that says you're clear, right? And then you need that for travel. So,
but the main point is they would have to have a checkpoint to require this, or to even say that they're requiring it. It's not like they're going to call you and say, hey, did you just get back from vacation? How are they doing this? Are they setting up major highway blocks? Are they doing it from plane trips? Are they, obviously it would be a lot easier if they were taking a plane home right at the airport. They can go, hey, where are you traveling from? You are required to do this. But how are they going to do it for the people that drive? Does that mean that there are going to be physical points where they actually do this? And then Texas County sends emergency text alert to 4.7 million residents requesting they cancel holiday gatherings during this surge. It says officials in Harris County, where Harris is located, appealed to the public to forego their gatherings with anyone beyond their own immediate households during the holiday season in an effort to help stop the spread of the SIV. It says on Tuesday, November 17, Harris County sent out an emergency text alert to all 4.7 million of its residents, asking them to cancel their holidays. It says, this is not the year to have a great holiday gathering, a great outing at the bar, restaurant. It's just not the time, said Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo, the county's top elected official. So, as by the way, I was just what I did right there, like a little I was at Best Buy, and we were outside waiting in the big line. Did not have anything on me because you're not required to outside, or maybe you are, I don't know, but it's the line to go in. So I'm not wearing anything, of course. Just walked up. A gentleman. First off, there's little spots on the ground in Washington, so there's dots. There was a dot at every 6 feet. He skipped back 3 dots. Even though there was a huge line, he basically held back people 3 dots because he saw that I didn't have one. Okay, that's fine. I went, I turned around, and he was running towards his car. I'll just leave it at that.
Is that a strategy to shorten the line?
I don't know. And if I was behind, I would be like, okay, dude, move up. We're already impatient when you're waiting in these. I actually called you the other day, and I was like, I'm waiting in a CV line, and you're like, what is that? Here, you have to wait. Now, especially, they just reduced everything to 25% capacity. So grocery stores, Best Buy, it was like 7:30. They closed at 8, and there was a line of 100 people, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to get in. And then what was so funny is they spent hours having people out in the cold and in the rain, and I'm 30, 40 people back. They have a limit. So the limit, I want to say, is like 60 or something. They let all 150 at the very last 20 minutes. The woman screams, do you guys know what you want? You all want to go? Blah, blah, blah. Just go all in. And then totally forgo. So all day these people waited, and then we're the last ones, and then just tells 150 just to go in and grab it because they want to go home. So they foregoed the rules just to get us, in and out, which was awesome as somebody waiting in the line thinking, I'm not going to make it in there by 8. But doesn't that forego the entire purpose for the entire line of all day, people waiting 2 hours to get into Best Buy to grab something? Just thought it was like, and there's police there and everything. I'm just thinking, if you're going to let that slip, then it's kind of undoes it, I guess. But man, people, they literally run away. That guy with the, I posted that picture, the guy in the convertible wearing the coverage. And I'm thinking, just don't put your top down, man. But you got to have that top down, looking cool.
Next time you get in the line, Adam, I recommend wearing like a hospital gown, something in the hair and a thermometer hanging out of your mouth, and just make sure you're hacking like the line will clear quickly. You'll be in the door in no time.
Oh my God, that's so messed up. There's 100 people in front of you. It look like you're out of 12 monkeys or something. Oh man, or outbreak. New York City school buildings to close Thursday. City on the verge of entering orange zone. It says all New York public schools will temporarily close in-person instruction beginning Thursday due to increasing CV. It says buildings are closed for in-person learning until further notice. All students who were learning in school buildings part of the week will transition to remote learning every day, said officials via social media. Mayor Bill de Blasio had warned of the closures of the all-city school buildings once the positivity rate over a 7-day rolling average reached the threshold of 3%. The rate in the city stood at 2.5 as of Wednesday afternoon. So it says earlier Governor Andrew Cuomo warned New York City was on the verge of entering the orange zone of restriction as the western part of the state was seeing astronomical increases. So, and then speaking from Albany, Cuomo said that the orange color designation would lead to restrictions on houses of worship, mass gatherings, restaurants, and schools. One thing I don't understand about that is the grocery stores, everything else, all these buildings that it's like you're passing by people. They tried that one-way thing in the stores here. Nobody even listened to it. They didn't enforce it. In your state, did you guys have that? Did you have the one-way aisles? Nobody even saw them. And then even the employees, when they removed them, they finally removed them. I noticed, and I'm like, hey, they got rid of it. And they were like, oh, I didn't even know. So the employees didn't even know about the removal of these, arrows. The thought of it, I get, right? You're going in one direction. You're not going back and forth and passing people. But it didn't work. Like, there was so many things during this whole thing that people suggested and they just did. And then we're like, oh, yeah, that doesn't work at all. I mean, geez, this is like the 2020, the year of experiments. It's just nuts. What do you guys think? And then if you guys want to support us in a different way and protect yourself, make sure to go check out NordVPN. If you don't have a virtual private network, then you are pretty much crazy at this point with all of the cyber hackers that are out there taking identities and everything else. But not only that, if you use public Wi-Fi, if you ever go to the cafe, not anymore, but if you do use Wi-Fi anywhere else, especially if you're in a Target or somewhere where there's no reception, you should have a VPN on your phone, your laptop, every device, including your kids' stuff. You can get it through us and get a huge savings of up to 70% at marfooglenews.com/VPN. You're supporting an independent channel. Again, truly independent, no multi-channel network, no agents to protect us. So we really do appreciate your support. And thank you guys for all you guys do for us. And that's why we put so much work into doing everything for you. All right, and again, that is best way to put yourself off and get extra Netflix videos that you wouldn't normally see. Put yourself in Australia, see what you see. And if you're in Australia, then put yourself here, of course. And then we have U.S. State Department to release Kennan-style blueprint for containing China. We'll hit this in just a second. Let me go over to the chat and see what you guys are doing. Truth Rev, thanks for being here. Math equal fear, your body goes in survival mode. That's a weird thought. Marie 35, that's a good one. Forcing them on you is humanism and insults God. There's a lot of strong thoughts about it. Ever dazed, it's an entire global reset for everything. NWO without the Hulk Hogan. Johnny Doom, Bobby D, Keith, KB7ZPP, thank you for following. Marie 35. I don't know if that will ever happen. They did basically suggesting that the face ones are burned like the bras back in the 70s. Let's see here. We've got Space Monkey Florida. Thank you so much. Priscilla R. Need to talk to you or Dex about chicks sold with disease. So I'm guessing chickens, baby chicks. DM me at Marfoogle. At, of course, Twitter. If you guys aren't following me over on Twitter, make sure to head over there and share like crazy. They take as many subscribers or followers over there as I get per day. I don't care about the number, but I do care about reaching my people and doing notifications to that, which is what I did started. Now we know that they're all kind of, in one network, so it makes sense. This channel has been 30 away from 137,000 subscribers for a month. All of a sudden, we went from growing at a steady pace to not at all. And I mean, down to the point where it's 30 people, which I can see on today's screen. We gained that during this show. Why? It's very frustrating considering we are one of the cleaner shows. We don't, it's really, really frustrating. If you aren't, then you just disappear now. So, Appalachian Girl, don't be scared. God's got this. And then we've got Buddy Lee. Thank you so much for your support. Joseph Newhouse is here tonight. Says, yo, Adam, I uploaded the Holy Grail video. Welcome aboard. Call the Mountain. There are many views. Kinda need some likes from the fam. Thinks of it later. Good video, yo. Brother, thanks. Joseph, thanks for your support, and I will make sure to check it out. Tony Estrada, thanks for the show, Adam and Dex. This is my first live show. Yeah, I've been here for over a year. Tony, that's awesome, and thank you for watching the replays. A lot of you do. I'll make sure to remember you. Thank you so much. Cosmic Dragon, love, happiness, and good vibes to the Foogle fam. From Omaha, Northeast Marf, my sons Devlin and Austin turned 16 and 17 on November 7th. Can you shout out an early happy B-Day for them for fun? Of course. Devlin and Austin, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Devlin and Austin. Happy birthday to you. Backwoods Ingenuity, when they try to stop Thanksgiving dinner, but the trees start rustling and singing country roads, LOL. Much love, Foogle fam, Adam Dex, and the Mod Squad. Thank you, Backwoods Ingenuity. Always a pleasure to have you. And then Bill A. Breckenridge, super sticker doesn't allow text. See, that's the one thing on my screen, how I see it. I don't see those. So if you sent a cute little emoji dancer, I didn't see it, so I apologize. And then we've got Josh S. Warrior. Thank you for the support. Thank you for supporting Independent. Tony Estrada, again, thank you for supporting Independent. Doc Bill, T-Man has said they are taking them out. Okay, great. Got that one already. So let's get into this. As far as I've talked about this a bunch, and you guys know my opinion by now, or if you don't, and this is your first show, they have put together all of the facts, and the facts are being overlooked by a huge chunk of people, including the media. The task force on this has put together raw data, and if you ever wanted like factual proof with sources, everything there, they have it. That report, after reading it, there's no doubt in my mind that this is where we're headed. As far as this, though, this is part of that whole thing. And it's just weird that only one side will participate in this and one won't. The position paper builds on shifts in U.S. global strategy in recent years toward the Pentagon has called great power competition with Russia and China, which Washington sees as revisionists attempting to rewrite the U.S.-led post-Cold War world order. And notice how they said that. Again, it says on Tuesday, Axios published an unclassified document from the U.S. State Department's Office of Policy Planning that lays out a series of goals the U.S. must achieve if it wants to forestall the rise of China as a global superpower. The document, titled, quote, "The Elements of the China Challenge," bears a number of similarities to the 1947 long telegram written by George F. Kennan a senior U.S. diplomat to the Soviet Union about how the U.S. should address the rise of the socialist superpower. Kennan advised the policy of containment through regional alliances and steady undermining of the Soviet system that became the basis of the Cold Conflict that followed. So we're already kind of in that as far as financially cutting all of these ties, separating businesses that they have there, some of their biggest business like Huawei, cutting that off from doing any kind of business with the U.S. It's a big deal to do that, especially with one of their biggest. Not only that, but saying that nobody else can work with them either, like Taiwan can't even manufacture the chips for their largest cell phone company, which means they're screwed. They can't have Google, they can't have Facebook, they can't have Gmail, they can't have Maps, they can't have the processor, which is made in Taiwan. So they basically had one of the fastest growing, and they were making flagship phones for half the price, and they were skyrocketing. Everybody had one. I remember sitting on a bus downtown going from one side of the city to the other, and everybody had these phones, Huawei phones. And I'm like, how did this pop up? Usually you see Samsung or you see Apple. Those are the two big competitors. These guys were coming up, boom, cut out. And they can't even make their phones for Australia, or, well, they wouldn't anyways because they're in bad terms too. But they couldn't even make phones for anybody else because we cut that. So there's some big moves being made as we speak. And those moves, I believe they wanted to undo. And there is now rocks basically being turned over, trying to stop them from undoing those moves. If you guys know, catch my drift. Lots of stuff going on. And then China forced Indians to retreat with secret microwave pulse weapon. That's right, pulse weapon. China used a secret microwave pulse weapon to cook Indian soldiers alive. That's what they said. And force them into retreat into Himalayan border battle. It says that these troops allegedly used some sort of microwave weapons to force these soldiers to retreat by making them violently sick during a Himalayan standoff, a professor has claimed. That's the important part here. The electromagnetic weapons, which cook the human tissue of enemy troops, turned the mountaintops into a microwave oven and made the soldiers vomit. International studies expert Jin Canrong told his students in Beijing. The microwave weapons heat water molecules in the same way that the kitchen appliance, targeting water under the skin and causing increasing amounts of pain to the target from ranges up to 0.6 miles away. Sounds like ADS, or active denial system. They're using something like this. What that is millimeter waves. So I've never heard this theory that battle was actually done with these kind of things. Think about this. If you were on the edge of a cliff in the Himalayan mountains and your whole skin was burning, would that make you feel like you just needed to jump off the edge? They said at least 20 people passed away, and some of that was falling off of this thing. Pretty crazy times that we're in. And weeks after this brawl involving rocks and clubs, which took out at least 20 soldiers on their side, China does not list how many they lost, and brought the two nuclear-armed powers closer to conflict than they have been in 53 years on one of the world's highest altitude battlefields. Crazy stuff. I don't know how, as far as, so this is supposedly, it's either DirecTV or a horrible skin cooking machine. Might just be Dish. I mean, they might have competition up there. They probably have Dish. They could be watching NBA. Who knows?
What scares me is I think that whatever they're doing, they don't have the technology that we have. We would probably have something that would irritate you, but maybe not. We could not necessarily cause bodily harm. I think that they would have technology that's a little less advanced, that they're just like, all right, well, we don't care if it cooks them completely. We're just going to shoot it at them, right?
Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
holding them back, right? Other than they're, worried about getting in a conflict. But if they're at the point where they're throwing people off the mountain, they don't really care. So.
Yeah, I mean, we could send messages in their head or make them hear things instead of cooking them. We do that. Like, we'll do something softer, and these guys are just like literally cooking people. That's crazy.
Think about if Kim got that. Jeez. This is a big subject right now because obviously a lot of people are worried about what is going on. You hear a lot of things said on the media, especially about T-Man saying that he asked about striking these guys, everything else. I think a lot of that is being used by both sides. So I would just focus on what are the actual possibilities here. It does say that they warned of crushing response after this was reported that T-Man mulled or thought this strike over. Of course, they took out Soleimani last year. That was a huge deal in some circles. In some of the regime, he was considered a hero, and he was taken out, I believe, by drone strike. Is that right, Dex? Was it a drone strike that they took?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was a surgical drone.
So it was very precise. It was a hit, and boom, he was gone. I think they took out somebody as well. Here's the craziest part, though. That no, they didn't. So when they took out Soleimani, they did not take out his second-hand man. And here's the even crazier part. Do you remember what they said why they took him out? Because they said they had evidence of them planning an event that would shadow 2001 like it was nothing. And the second-hand man is still running around. The guy who was right underneath Soleimani and is going to continue where Soleimani dropped off. So why do you guys think that this is being brought up again? Is this a possibility? Of course, there's going to be a fair share of people going, oh, it's all a big distraction. I prepare like there's a chance for everything. Because never just want to assume. You know what they say about when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. So think about that. They said it would foreshadow, or it would toss a shadow on 2001's big event. They were planning that. They took him out, and the second strike, which was supposed to take out the number 2 guy, missed. So keep that in mind. Now they of course are saying they warned that any U.S. attack would face a, quote, crushing response. Of course they're going to say that. Following a report that President T-Man had been dissuaded from launching a military strike against them during his final months in office. Other people are saying this because they are scared of him doing something on his last day or something. I don't think he'll just do something just because he's 2 months left or as a big FU to somebody. But in the back of my head, am I thinking about this kind of stuff? Of course. One thing that people have said is if you are in the state of martial, and then there is no transfer of power. So that's where other people have come in with that theory, right? If we do go to martial, then there would be no transfer. So that's what people have said, at least, allegedly. Allegedly, expectedly, something. And one more. Boom. E-deck bags. If you don't want to be tracked and traced, this is a, pretty big deal now because now they are doing it without even having to do it on your... They don't even have to put anything on your phone. Now it is already installed on almost every major phone. It is specifically for what is going on right now. But again, if you do want to go off-grid, and I mean off-grid, you can put your devices in an e-deck bag. Marfooglenews.com/edeck. You can save with the code Marfoogle. All right, let's go back over to the chat, and then let's see here. You already got it. Oh, great lined up. Mersa1, I hope at Chazer is okay and getting better. Chazer152, I have not seen. There's so many names, but I do notice when I haven't seen somebody in a while. Amy R. What happened to Amy R? I'm hoping she's okay. Queen for a Day. Vibron. How's Veteran Steve doing? Let's see here. Yakstar, what is going on? Let's see here. Alish, where is Alish? Jonesy 707, Audrey's Visual Arts, Belina, GM Hatch, thank you for following. Jody Cattle Dogs, thank you as well. Maui Racing Realtor, Vibron, Unicorn Forest, Ostuo, thank you for gifting out subs over on DLive. I appreciate that. And Silverman 28, thank you for hanging out in the chat today. I saw you earlier talking about preppreneurs. And then Marie 35, Romans 13, everyone God's law, not man's law, wake up. Great point. With real faith, that's all the protection you need. Marie 35, thank you. Gone Girl, 10 p.m. curfew. CV goes to bed at 10 p.m. Yeah, we were just talking about that with my mother-in-law just tonight. Talking about, is it nocturnal? It's an entire another person. Yes, they have now basically said it in public, actually, which is funny. I'll share that in a minute here. Die Hard Prepper, get prepared. Huge support, thank you. Rugged individualism, love of God and country, and a belief that we will survive. Foogle fam will survive. Get prepared, guys and gals. So our main thing here is, again, set up with our network of prepper channels and just make sure to have extra supplies. Right now, it's probably kicking in that you did so, especially now that people are panic buying for no reason, getting 50 things of toilet paper and leaving none for people like me with 4 kids. But again, we thought to do it before the rush. In fact, we warned you 4 weeks before. But I think about all the people that didn't. Think about that. If you're going out and buying 50 things of toilet paper, think about, or especially since then it goes toilet paper, then it goes napkins, then it goes baby wipes. What happened to us last time is we didn't do it. And we ended up having no baby wipes. We could not buy them. That's really stupid. You can't even flush them. So I could understand the flushable wipes, but either way. Christian Moore, I love teaching kids what they don't know they can do. Awesome, Christian. And as a coach, Christian Moore says, as a coach, we all must work together. Forget about the play that didn't work. We all must work to the end for each other. Hashtag let our kids play and stay together. Great point. And as a coach, you've got to lead. Thanks for the show, Adam. Thanks again. And then, of course, Haven Pro. Thank you so much for your support. So, crazy, crazy stuff. Check this out. Saudi minister says nuclear armament against the guys we just talked about is an option. SA reserves the right to arm itself with nuclear weapons if I cannot be stopped from making one, says the minister. SA reserves the right to arm itself with nuclear weapons if the regional rival, I, cannot be stopped from making one, the kingdom's minister of state of foreign affairs said. It says it's definitely an option. So basically saying, if he gets a popsicle, I want a popsicle. That's like how he said it, because he's a royal prince or something. So, basically, if he has a popsicle, I want a popsicle. A nuclear popsicle. Popsicle. I don't know if that's how he sounds. I don't know why he sounded specifically like that, but I just assume. Remember what they say about assume. Indonesian coffin maker becomes instant millionaire after a $1.8 million space rock crashes through his roof. Now, I'm assuming this guy is like a handmade coffin maker. I don't know if he works in a factory or what. I was thinking, man, this would be a good way to cover up $1.8 million contract to make a bunch of coffins, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. This guy is just literally, just chilling, and a meteor goes through his house. It says a coffin maker in Indonesia became an instant millionaire when a $1.8 million lump of space rock crashed through his roof. It says Joshua Hatalung, 33, was at home when the football-sized meteorite smashed through the veranda at the edge of his living room. So how often do we hear about this, right? I have been saying I think that there's more stuff hurling at us and more bigger stuff. This did not burn up. A football size, that's a big deal. And I'm just wondering, Dex, like, did this throw him off his feet? Did this have a shock wave? That's quite a big rock to not make damage, considering, the size of a car can destroy, massive amounts of it can destroy a city. A football-sized going at that same speed, you would think that his house would explode.
Yeah, I predict there's a new elite profession coming out now, and it's asteroid hunters, and not the ones looking in the sky, but those looking for the meteors on the ground. If they're worth this much money, I can only imagine what type of people are going to start outfitting the hunting of this.
Okay, so you actually don't know, but they have a show actually centered around that, and I don't know if it's still on, but there are meteor hunters, and they have 6-wheeled vehicles that go over the desert with metal detectors actually installed on the bottom. Meteorite hunting is actually a thing, and there are some crazy ones that do it full time. And when you do find one, if you found one like this, think about it. You could spend, even if you search for 3 years and found one, it's like 3 years and boom, you got $1.8 million, which, by the way, now, if you found that, say, even 10, 20 years ago, that's a lot of money. Isn't it crazy that $1.8 million is not that much money anymore? Yeah, I guess it depends where you live. If you're in Seattle, $1.8 million is nothing. You would barely get a normal house. You're not a millionaire. Back in the day, there was a place in Washington called Sunset, and it was this hill, and it was where all the really rich people in Bellevue lived. And it had fountains, spraying up in the entrance, and it's a super huge hill. Every place on the hill has a view that's just gorgeous. Half the hill has a view of Seattle and all these lake, water, everything. And you're just this really tiny little hill. If you know about Sunset, then feel free to put it in chat. But we would go up there sometimes to watch the fireworks from Bellevue in Seattle. So it's cities away, but you could see the fireworks. Those were $1 million houses, and they were like mansions to me when I was a kid. I mean, they're those houses that have a little gym and have a little room, like, a total waste of space in, again, if you have one, it's not a bad thing, but again, these were mansions with theater rooms and things like that. That was $1 million. $1 million does not get you that anymore. $1 million is a normal middle-class home in Seattle. Now, in Houston, Texas, I understand that actually would get you kind of a mansion, but I guess it's all location and where you're at. But that same amount of money is not even worth what it was. And I just think it's depressing. If you're a millionaire, you're not elite.
Well, I'm going to revise my prediction then. Since there's already people doing this, my prediction is now that a bunch of southern rednecks are going to get in their 4x4s and become meteor hunters.
Redneck meteor hunter.
Just going to flood the market. I mean, you put this out in the news, it's everybody's fair game.
Redneck in a half shell, or redneck in a half truck. I like it. Experts have hailed the 4.5 billion year old space rock as one of the most significant meteorite finds ever, saying it could contain elements which give us clues to the origins of life. In other news, somebody else is going to use it as a doorstop. Pretty crazy. One of my teachers had a space rock that was pretty big. He said it was worth a bunch of money back then, but I was thinking, it's kind of crazy to have a meteorite of any kind. If you are not following me over on Twitter, make sure to do so. Again, go over to @Marfoogle on Instagram and Twitter. Follow, and I will most likely follow back. I didn't know that a lot of people have the follow me thing on. So if you don't follow them back, they just automatically unfollow. Almost a lot of people have this nowadays, and I didn't even know about that. It's just crazy. I don't care about the numbers, but I do care about reaching more people. So if you can, share the tweets when you see them. If it's something you don't agree with, then don't. That would be great. By the way, looks like Mr. MBB333. Check that out. Cool picture popped up on my home right there. Sent in from Sierra Vista, Arizona. If you guys haven't checked him out, he's got an awesome channel. And then this is my official Marfoogle news. You'll see the Lego guy here. Again, that's me. Awesome figure. Gem sent that in. And then, of course, make sure to follow me there. This is where you can actually watch live from here if you don't have a device that's working on anything else. But also, this is where you get the links for everything. And we always do a notification. If you haven't noticed, we always send this notification out. If you can, make sure to click this and retweet it to somebody you know, tag somebody, and share the show. That's an easy way to do it, or share it over on Instagram, wherever you want to share it. All the links are there for you to do so. All right, let's see here. And we were going to go to the last. We were going to pop them up, but I was just going to go over and say hello to some of the people that were watching replays. Let's see here. Turn this down. Hello to some of the people that were watching. Okay. By the way, this is, you guys can't see it publicly. We're 30 away from 137, and it just keeps taking just as many as we get. It's absurd. I've been watching it for a week and a half now. That's crazy to me. Make sure to check if you're subscribed. Okay, then this is the last show. Supposed to gather or something like this. Different states have done. All right. Okay, so Lauren T says, my guess is China has a backdoor to all of our technology sold to them by the Clintons. Prep and pray. So I'm going to thumbs that up. Thank you, Lauren T. Tom McAfee says, China will build as many nuclear weapons as the uranium that the Clints sold them last times, I'm guessing. I'm going to heart that. Thank you. Miri says, true journalist Bill Gertz wrote a book about Clint selling our military secrets to China, but our side shows was adultery with Monaco. If you remember that, that's a trip. That was Miri. Gonna thumbs that up and heart it. Forgot to heart the other ones. Gonna do that. True Technique says, the blood trail behind them is staggering. Says, what's the name of the book? Boom. Sue Pitts, thank you. Carol Drelling, when T-Man announced the warp speed, it says it didn't feel right that the military should be required to administer. What does it say? Not to mention the ingredients contained in it. There isn't enough comparison data or scientific support. Gonna thumbs that up. Gonna heart it. Shelly Nelson, Dr. F says, wear it after V for added protection. Just gonna highlight that there. JC, Jesus Christ is our truly only hope. Gonna heart that and thumbs it up. Kathleen Roman, you actually think the scientists had the freedom to quit? More likely they were, quote, retired. Okay, so Kathleen is talking about the Chinese scientists. No, they were not fired. So, well, specifically in that case, you might be right on other stuff, but as far as the Chinese scientists, no. What they were such an important role, they totally screwed them over. They only had about 185, and they did a full in-depth report on this outside our country. They never talked about it here. But they totally screwed them over because they only had a certain number of people that had that specific qualification, that had that clearance to do that kind of research and develop for nuclear items. They could have been paid off by other countries or even ours to quit, and possibly are even being offered protection. But if they're not, they're screwed, and they would be doing it for moral reasons. And if you don't know about that, look up 90 nuclear scientists resign in one day from research and development for China. That's a government job. They totally screwed them over. So they didn't like something. They were like, nope, we're not. I'm not having this on my hands because I think there's something big coming. And that was totally laughed over. Marf, you really believe the CCP? Let those scientists quit? No chance in hell. Not if they liked living. See, this is what people say. That's exactly what I'm saying. If they did quit, that's a big deal. And nobody's talking about it. When the suitcase nukes go off, then you'll know it's began. Rick Montag. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you guys. Again, this show, comment down below, and we will be reading the top comments on it tomorrow. All right. Let's go over. Let's see here. We're going to be transitioning over again to do the calls. We're going to be doing those over on D Live. If you guys want to follow us over there afterwards, we do a separate show for that. For obvious reasons. Somebody can explain that to you, at least for the time being. Thank you, Gone Girl, again for being here. Toss dare you do that. Says, I hope you get your platform going soon, Marf and Dex. Your vision is now a ninjet closer. Peace and love all. Thank you, Toss Dare. I think you are 12. You are the 12th person that has done the highest compliment on D Live that has been bestowed upon us. So thank you, Toss Dare. I almost guarantee you that will put you in the leaderboard tonight. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for your support. Dex and I guaranteed appreciate it. Rahino, thank you so much for the lemon. Chia Pet, thank you. 491 just followed. Thank you and welcome to the Foogle fam. And then we have Backwoods Ingenuity. Building cornerstone is a Meteor equals retirement plan. Then we've got Christian Moore says, love teaching kids. And then, of course, Bill Billingsley. Thank you so much for your support as well. All right, we're going to be transferring over to D Live, and we're going to be doing a different kind of shoutro tonight. We're going to be doing an interactive shoutro, so you guys get to help make the song. And yeah, if you want to follow us over there, the links are going to be down below. The links are also on Twitter. The links are on our website, marfooglenews.com. It's easy to follow us over there. Get over there. I will wait about 3.5 minutes, give you time to get set up over there. Thank you. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. no. I go, go, go. You need more than Josh S. Warrior, don't need a starter. Oh, so, so, so proud.
Now you know the secret, now you gotta go and keep it. Now you know the secret, now you gotta go and keep it.
All right. Let's get started.